Alright, hello again everybody. It's me, Chef Chris. Hello. We're going to do a quick little demo here. I'm making chicken Alfredo, kind of like my own version. Look up online if you want some different chicken Alfredo recipes or the history of chicken Alfredos or Alfredo sauces. Started in an Italian restaurant by one of the greatest pasta chefs of all time. It's a little bit different than the way we've changed and modified it. You can also do this with a bechamel. You don't have to use heavy cream. You can make a bechamel like we would for a mac and cheese. Predominant flavor, and I find in the most familiar flavor would be nutmeg in our Alfredo flavorings. Garlic and onions chopped up, and the chicken once again. So I'm taking a chance to layer more flavors, right? Or to have the chicken cut up. So why not marinate a little bit? Salt and pepper, a little olive oil, lots of oregano. Oregano is kind of the typical Italian seasoning, right? And cracked black pepper, and we've a little bit of garlic powder, just to kind of reinforce that garlic flavor. Everybody knows Alfredo is very garlicky. So I got a hot pan. You can tell it's starting to smoke a little. So I'll get my oil in there to start things off with. Once again, I'm going to start my aromatic vegetables first. So I've got our olive oil flavor with a nice onions and garlic. So we've added our onions and garlic and flavored our oil, and now we're adding our meat. Sauteing is a dry heat method. This pan's a little overcrowded. I tend to do that around my house a bit. If this was a restaurant, there would be a lot less meat, and what happens is when there's too much of the meat in, it starts to steam, and as we know, steaming is a moist heat cooking method. Chicken breast here is extremely lean. There's hardly any fat in it. So if we're using a moist heat method, there's no fat or connective tissue in it to keep it tender. So what happens is you end up with a dry, overcooked tasting product, sometimes even flavorless. But so this is a dry heat method, so normally we want to try to spread it out in the pan so that way everything gets seared nicely and there's no steam being created, so our meat ends up really nice and tender. If we were using a less expensive cut of meat and it had lots of connective tissue like chicken thigh, well then we would want to use a moist heat cooking method, because then it would have time to break down those connective tissues and it would make it actually more tender because we used a moist heat method. Just to clarify about the moist heat cooking, so if you overcrowd your pan, then your meat's piled on top of it and it's trapping the steam, so the steam has no way of escaping. So you're going to be creating steam even in your typical dry heat cooking methods. It's just not going to be trapped and be the main way that the food is cooking. We want the pan contact to be cooking the food. So we've got some good caramelizing here. Normally you only want to cook your chicken at about 65-75% before adding your liquids, so that way because we're going to build our sauce in this pan and we don't want to overcook our chicken. Alright, so you want to cook your chicken to about 75%, so the rest is going to cook as you reduce your sauce down. So you can deglaze the pan. See that nice sauce going in there? You can deglaze the pan with white wine. We're using lemon juice a little bit first. And then it would be like a lemon green sauce or like wine cream sauce. I'm just going to stick with heavy cream for this. Now, heavy cream is expensive. And it's also, some people consider it not good for you because it's so fat and it has fat in it. Jury's still out on how fat converts into fat in your body. Some say, usually it's carbohydrates that end up turning to fat in your body as it stores it for energy for later on. Anyways, so with heavy cream, that's about $5 a jug or $6 a jug. So the other thing you can do is make a bechamel, which is just use milk and your flour and butter, which is a lot less expensive than sauce. But the cream is really nice and rich. Gives it a nice mouthfeel in the end. And you can't really split it. So I'm turning my heat down now, it's back to a simmer. And now you see all that steam? What we're doing right now, we're reducing. Right? All that steam's evaporating the moisture. And what's leaving left behind is just the concentrated flavors of the spices we started with. And once again, layers of flavor, right? So seasoned throughout. A little salt, a little pepper. I'm just going to pop a little more oregano in there. So I love the flavor of oregano in Italian cooking. And just a little bit more of the nutmeg. Because really an Alfredo sauce to me
Has quite a nutmeggy flavor. So now remember, when you're using spices, especially like cloves and nutmeg, they are quite strong. So only a little bit is all you need. It goes a long way. The other thing I could have done, which I used to do a lot of, is I'd have a couple whole nutmegs and I'd just grate it in there fresh. So good when it's fresh. The oils are a lot more present. It's not as dried out, so the flavors are a lot more aromatic. And there we go. So I put chili powder in here, so you're seeing a bit of a reddish tinge to this. And I don't mind browning my meat. Some traditionalists would say the Alfredo should be pure white. I like to brown the meat because it caramelizes the proteins as they cook, and I like to and I find it makes it a little sweeter. Once again, more richness in the dish by once again adding another layer of flavor of the caramelized chicken in there. Yeah, so that's about it. I've already cooked my pasta noodles. I was a little off on the time. I could have showed you that, but I did those a little ahead because I was cleaning up between showing this little video. So I've already got my noodles off. I'm just going to toss them in here and put it together with a little bit of Parmesan. You could add Parmesan now. I don't like to. I like to finish the top of the dish with the Parmesan. I like the richness of the sauce to just be on its own without the cheese thickening it. So we're still got a little ways of reduction to go. If you find, like what I did, is I overcooked my chicken a little bit before I added this cream. You could take your chicken out and really reduce the sauce down, but I'm not cooking for royalty today, so I'm just cooking for my family. I'm going to let that reduce a little more. I'm just going to move some of the chicken out of it so it doesn't get too overcooked. And now I'm going to add my noodles into the saucy part and serve it up. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye. Alright, so I've added some cracked black pepper. Now our sauce is reduced enough, I think, to coat the noodles nicely. Nice thick sauce there. And coats the back of the spoon. Anyways, and then I figured I might as well make some garlic toast. So garlic toast, we love this little bread. It's really seedy. Got lots of different kinds of seeds on it and everything. It's really delicious. It's got flax seeds and everything. Anyways, I just buttered the bread, sprinkled a little oregano on it if you want herbs on it. And now I just go along and give a little shake of garlic powder on each piece. It's just that easy. All of a sudden you got garlic toast, right? You don't have to go this stuff comes out pretty fast. You can use fresh garlic too. Then you're gonna mix your butter up and everything. And then I like to put a little bit of fresh Parmesan on my piece. And my wife likes that. And one son likes that. And Parmesan's really expensive, so I don't want to use too much in there. And then I'm going to have some of my pasta. And then I'm going to squeeze a little lemon. I'm going to use Caesar dressing because who's got time always to make your own Caesar dressing? And we like to eat Caesar salad, so I buy this one from Costco. But I'm just going to fix it up a bit with a little lemon juice, fresh cracked black pepper, and fresh Parmesan. You can add croutons and bacon, whatever you like. All right, there we go. So for Caesar salad, it's usually a pretty heavily dressed salad. Just dress the amount you're going to need because it doesn't really last very well because there's all acid in the dressing and lemon juice. This lemon's one I already used the zest off of, so now I'm just going to use that to juice. For adding the dressing, I usually just put a liberal amount across the top, almost just basically cover whatever amount is on the top, and then toss it all. That tends to be the right amount. Plus this lemon juice is going to make it go further. Alright, so we broiled the garlic toast for about 3 to 4 minutes. Pasta was all tossed up, and then we just plated it up. My wife doesn't really like chicken, so she just gets the Parmesan. And this is mine with us bread. And my one son, he takes it just like I do. And then my other son, he doesn't like the Parmesan and no chicken either. Anyways, Caesar salad, nice little bit of veggies. The big mess, not too bad of a mess to clean up. Clean as you go. Tidy this up while everybody's coming to the table and enjoy a nice meal. Okay, take care everybody. Hope you're still cooking well. Miss you all. Bye.